Hey y'all, what's happening? What's happening? Monday morning, get up. I'm Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me. Welcome to another Monday morning Get Up, the show where we just give you a little bit of inspiration. We give you a little bit of motivation so that you can start your day. We talk about lessons. We talk about life. We talk about stories, and we share different things so that you can start your week with a renewed focus, a refreshed mind, and raring to go. So let's do it. What are we going to talk about this morning? Well, we're going to talk about my kids. Before we talk about my kids, I want to share with you, make sure that you join us here every Monday morning at 10 a.m. If you've got a thought, if you've got an idea, if you've got a text, if you've got something that you want to do, then make sure that you join me at text me at 410-936-4049. Text me at 936-4049. As a matter of fact, guess what? I forgot to text my community. So let me do that while we're on live here. So if you guys could hang on with me for 1 second, I'm texting my community live on air here. All right. So, so I'm texting them saying I'm live on Monday morning. Get up. Join me on YouTube, LinkedIn, or FB. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all so y'all see this is not like an automated system. I actually do this. I send out messages, and if you reply to them, I respond back to you. It's me. It's me. It's me for real. So what are we talking about this morning? So I remember when my daughter, it was, I think she was about 1.5 years. And when we had bought a house, and my daughter, was she 1.5 years? She may have been about 2. I'll say about 2 years old. So we bought her this tricycle. And I remember the first time that we put her on the tricycle, and I would push her around the house, right? I would push her around the house, and because I'm a big kid, I would step on the back and I would push off like a skateboard, and I would ride around with her. And she would have so much fun with that. She would absolutely love it. And so when she wanted to ride, she would just kind of get on and say, "Daddy, push," right? "Daddy, push." And so there was one day where I decided that I wasn't going to push her. I was just saying to her that you can ride yourself. You can get this thing moving yourself. And when I said that, she just kind of looked at me, like, what am I supposed to do? So I'm on this thing and it's supposed to move. And she was trying to swing her legs backwards so that this thing could move, because she saw me kind of pushing my legs backwards, and she was swinging her legs backwards to try to make this thing move, but her legs weren't long enough to hit the floor. So she wasn't going anywhere. And then I kind of showed her that her legs didn't have to be long enough to hit the floor. All she needed to do was use the pedals right where her legs are, and that could allow her to proceed or go forward. Right. See, the thing is, a lot of times we have some stuff right in front of us, right at access, right? We have some stuff that is accessible to us pretty easily. And because we don't use it, we stay in the same place and we don't go forward. I want you to remember that. A lot of times we have things that are accessible to us, and because we don't use it, or maybe we're not aware of how to use it just yet, we stay in the same place and we don't go forward. Good for my daughter. Lucky for her that she had a mentor. She had me right next to her to share with her how she could access this or how she could move forward. So one of the points that I want to make this morning is, if you're feeling stuck, or if you're feeling like you are not able to move forward, maybe you're feeling like you're in a rut, look around. What is accessible to you? What do you have access to? And what can you do to get access to or ask questions to a mentor if you're feeling stuck? Because here's what happens. A lot of us, we get stuck and we try to dig out of it by ourselves. We're like, man, it's just a moment. I'm having a moment. And we try to dig out of it by ourselves. And the more that you dig is the deeper that you go. It's kind of like that car that's stuck in the mud, right? The car is stuck in the mud and it's a rear wheel drive vehicle and the two rear wheels are stuck in the mud and you try to get out of the mud. And one of the worst things that you can do is by revving the engine further and causing the wheels to spin harder, because when that happens, you already don't have the traction and all you're doing is making a deeper hole in the mud and the car is going to get stuck further. Right. So what do you need to do? You need to have something that allows you to gain traction. You need to have somebody that can push. You need to have somebody that can pull, or you need to figure out where I can get wood or cardboard or something that is going to be outside of the vehicle and help us to gain traction. So let's share our quote for this morning. So speaking of mud and dirt and fields, our quote for this morning is, "You cannot plow a field by turning it over in your mind." Right? To begin. Hey, Wallace. Hey, Stephen Wallace. How you doing? All right. MTM Biz Consult. How you doing this morning? Right? So you cannot plow a field by turning it over in your mind. To begin. I heard this phrase quite a few years ago, and the phrase was analysis paralysis. A lot of us, we know that we need to do something. We know that we need to push towards a certain goal. We know that we need to move in the direction of a certain achievement. And here's what we do. We say, I need this. We say, I can't do it yet because the circumstances are not right. I can't move towards that direction yet because I've got this bill to pay. I've got all of these different things happening. Coach Rice, what's happening, Doc? Right? We say that we can't move forward because we've got all of these excuses in our space. And the timing isn't right. I'm not ready to do this yet. And a lot of times we sit down and we say that I'm going to do this. And we say, okay, yeah, I just need to plan it out. Let me get my spreadsheet. Let me get my chart and let me get my pen. Right. And I'm going to write it all down. I need to write down steps 1 through 423. And we begin to do that. And the longer that we stay there is the slower that we proceed. Right now, I'm not saying that you've got to jump always, but we honestly don't need as many plans. We honestly don't need as many concrete steps as we convince ourselves that we do in order to move forward. I remember reading a book several years back about General Colin Powell and his military philosophy. One of the things that he said is that in the military, in order to be successful, you've got to be able to move and plan and execute quickly, right? You got to be able to execute plans quickly. And quite often, if you decide that you're going to take a long time to come up with a complete plan, your enemy is going to have that much more time and latitude to move forward towards you and keep you from doing what you need to do, right? So he said that often generals and the military personnel proceed or execute or begin executing plans with only about 40% of the information. You have to be prepared to proceed with only about 40% of the information. Not just proceed, you've got to be prepared to make certain decisions with only about 40% of the information. Because again, the longer that you wait, the longer that you say, listen, I've got to figure out, I've got to have all the stuff. I've got to have all the information. I've got to get it just right. Resistance, the enemy is pushing back against you. All of that is happening and you're losing time. And whether we want to believe it or not, I mean, I sent a message to my community last week or over the weekend and the title of it was, "It's never too late until it is." Right? We hear that phrase. Yeah, it's never too late. Yes, it's never too late to start, and you can start right from where you are. However, starting from where I am today does not mean I have access to all of the same opportunities that I did yesterday. If I have the opportunity to take advantage of something now, it's not going to be the same as it was yesterday, right? If somebody offers me a plate of hot food right now and they say, "Hey, I was thinking about you and I went to go to get lunch. My family loves, or my sons love Chipotle." Right? So if we say, "Yay, I was thinking about you and we stopped at Chipotle and we got this meal," and we bring it home to them and it's hot. Right? The rice is hot, the beans are hot, the chicken that's on it is hot. The fajita veggies that are on it are hot. Everything is hot. If they say to me, "Yeah, that's cool, I appreciate that, thank you. Let me put down on the counter and not eat it right now. Let me eat it this afternoon." If they eat it this afternoon, they still have the meal, but they don't have the meal in the same way that they had it earlier. It's still not fresh off of the out of the pans, right? It's still not heated in the same way as it just came out. And then if they leave it till tomorrow, it's going to be cold. And then they can still try to reheat it. But how many times can you reheat something? Have you ever tried to reheat something 3 or 4 times? By the time you do it the 3rd or 4th time, it's not the same as it was initially. So when you say it's never too late. Yeah, what's up, Coach Rice? All right. When you say it's never too late, yeah, it's never too late to begin. And if you begin after the initial opportunities presented, then you won't have the same opportunity access. I want you to think about Bitcoin. If you look in your phone or if you look online right now, Bitcoin is probably about $44,000 for one share. You remember back in the day when they said you've got to get Bitcoin, and people looked and they were like, "Yeah, no, whatever. I don't want to do that. That doesn't make sense." And then it began to pick up momentum, and some people said, "Yeah, I think I need to jump on this." And some people were like, "Yeah, it's going to crash. I don't know. It's not the right time. I don't have the money. I don't have." And then now the average person can't get a full share of Bitcoin. The average person cannot buy a full share of Bitcoin right now because it's like $44,000. Right? So a lot of times we lose out on things. An opportunity is presented, or we get an idea about something that we want to do, and we proceed to turn it over and over and over in our mind. And Gordon B. Hinckley says you can't plow a field by turning it over in your mind. To begin. The only way that you move forward, the only way that you reach goals, the only way that you access your achievements is by actually doing the work. Yes, plans are good. Yeah, I'm all about plans. I'm all about goal setting. I'm all about moving forward and organizing and analyzing and making sure that you have things in place. But at the end of the day, the field does not get plowed by simply planning and turning it over in your mind. At some point, you got to begin. So begin. This morning, that's what we want to share with you. That's what I want to share with you. I want to just encourage you, as the name of the show is, to get up and go. Get up and go. Yes, there are going to be things that you need to be careful of and aware of. You are never going to have the perfect situation. You're never going to have it perfect and just right. You're never going to have all of it together. Simply decide what you need to achieve. Simply decide what you desire. Simply decide what goal you want to get to, and then get up and go. You can't plow a field by turning it over in your mind. So make sure this morning that you begin. I want to invite you as well to join me in what I call the Start Where You Are challenge. If you are somebody that has a small business, if you're a coach, if you're a business owner, and you want to create greater visibility in your space and you know that you need to get online, you need to share your story, you need to get on video, then get into the Start Where You Are challenge. Because here's what a lot of people feel. A lot of people feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have the right equipment. I don't have the camera that Robert has. I don't have the mic that Robert has. I don't have the lighting and the setup and the studio and the office that Robert has. Listen, start right where you are. You don't need all of that stuff. In order to make a difference, in order to connect, in order to reach out to people, in order to transform and impact people, you gotta start. You gotta begin. So start right where you are. Start right where you are. Listen, I'll see y'all on the next Monday morning for another episode of Monday Morning Get Up and Go. Again, Gordon B. Hinckley says you can't plow a field by turning it over in your mind. To begin. Get started this morning. What are you going to do today? What step are you going to take? What's your action? How will you get up and go? I'll see y'all next Monday morning. Peace.